Hello everyone. First of all, I would like to define Commonwealth. Commonwealth is a voluntary association of 54 independent countries which fosters links between its members, while promoting democracy and human rights and aiding economic development. The Commonwealth dates back to the first half of the 20th century with the decolonization of the British Empire. It was formally constituted by the London Declaration in 1949, which modernized the community and established the member state as free and equal. Queen Elizabeth II remains symbolic of this association since she is the Commonwealth chief. Moreover, she is the official monarch of 16 countries, although member states have no legal obligation to one another. They remain connected through the use of English language and common history. Their shared values of democracy, human rights, and the rule of law are enshrined in the Commonwealth Charter and promoted by the quadrennial Commonwealth Games. In this section, I will talk about the history of Commonwealth. At the beginning, there were the imperial conferences. They were in London between chiefs of Britannic government and Dominion chief. In 1921, the association was officially named the British Commonwealth of Nations. From the British perspective, also dominions like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, or South Africa were colonies. They were perceived to be more advanced than the other. In the Balfour Declaration at the 1926 Imperial Conference, Britain and its dominion agreed they were equal in status, in no way subordinate one to another, in any aspect of their domestic and external affairs. So, though united by common allegiance to the crown, and fully associated as member of the British Commonwealth of Nations. The term Commonwealth was officially adopted to describe the community. These aspects to the relationships were formalized by the Statute of Westminster in 1931. The first Commonwealth was essentially a political and geographical group created under the impulse of the dominions and the need to transform relations between imperial power and its colonies. One of the fundamental principles was the allegiance to the British Crown. But the problem was the independence of India. India wanted to be a democracy. In this way, it's impossible to recognize a monarch. But the United Kingdom wanted the participation of India because the United Kingdom was just lose India. That is why allegiance to the British crown is no longer granted, but the British monarch is now recognized as a symbol of Commonwealth unity, so republics can be welcomed. Then, the British Commonwealth of Nations thus became just the Commonwealth of Nations. Here, my aim is explaining the global structure of Commonwealth. Under the formula of the London Declaration, Queen Elizabeth II is the head of the Commonwealth, a title that is by law a part of Elizabeth's royal titles in each of the countries of the Commonwealth. The 16 members of the Commonwealth that recognize the Queen as their monarch. When the monarch dies, the successor to the crown does not automatically become head of the Commonwealth. However, at their meeting in April 2018, Commonwealth leaders agreed that Prince Charles should succeed his mother as head. The position is symbolic, representing the free association of independent members, the majority of which are republics, with five even having monarchs of different royal houses. Also, the chief is the queen. It is the Secretary General who truly represents the Commonwealth and leads the operation. For example, the Baroness Scotland of Østfold is the sixth Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations, and the actual president is Boris Johnson. The Secretary General shall be elected by the head of government of the members and may serve 2 terms of 4 years. The position of Secretary General was created in 1965. The Commonwealth Secretariat is based in London and consists of 320 staff from member countries. The Commonwealth has its own flag. The voluntary Commonwealth is concerned with international cooperation and economic progress, social development, and human rights in members' countries, but the decisions of the various Commonwealth councils are non-binding. Concerning adhesion of Commonwealth, a new member must, as a general rule, have a direct constitutional link to one existing member. In most cases, this is due to being a former colony of the United Kingdom, but some have links to other countries, either exclusively or more directly. The first member to be admitted without constitutional link to the British Empire, or a Commonwealth member, was Mozambique. Mozambique's controversial entry led to the Edinburgh Declaration and the current membership guidelines. In 2009, Rwanda became the second Commonwealth member, admitted without any such constitutional links. Of course, it is also possible to be excluded from obtaining member status. For example, South Africa has been excluded for many years because it did not want to end its racist system. This map represents all countries of the Commonwealth: Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, South Africa, part of South Africa, and others. In this last part, we'll deal with symbols aim of Commonwealth. Firstly, the Charter of the Commonwealth is a charter setting out the values of the Commonwealth of Nations as well as the commitment of its 54 member states to equal rights, democracy, and so on. A total of 16 core beliefs are drawn up in the charter, namely democracy, human rights, international peace and security, tolerance, respect, understanding, freedom of expression, separation of power, rule of law, good governance, sustainable development, protecting the environment, education, food and shelter, access to health, gender equality, importance of young people in the Commonwealth, recognition of the needs of the small states, recognition of the needs of the vulnerable states, and lastly, the role of civil society. The Commonwealth of Nations supports the Commonwealth Games, a sporting event held every 4 years for member countries. A Commonwealth Day is celebrated on the second Monday in March. Each year has a different theme, but each country can celebrate as they like. The Commonwealth has adopted a number of symbols that represent the association of its members. The English language is recognized as a symbol of the member heritage, as well as being considered a symbol of the Commonwealth recognition of it as the means of Commonwealth communication is a prerequisite for Commonwealth membership. The flag of the Commonwealth consists of the symbol of the Commonwealth Secretariat, a gold globe surrounded by emanating rays on a dark blue field. I have I have finished my presentation. Goodbye.